Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel and welcome back to the third and final day of my little Easter weekend Usk fishing adventure. Day 3 on a different beat again from yesterday, learning things every day as we go, trying to figure this out. It's not gone quite how we thought, but we are getting there in the end and each day has gotten better and better so far. Please don't forget, if you're not subscribed to the channel, to do that right now. That way you'll be kept in touch with all the news, all the reviews and all the times we come out and do stuff like this, because it's really cool. I really enjoy sharing this for you guys. So on the previous 2 days, I've fished beats that I'd fished before. The first one I fished last year. The second day I fished about 10 years ago. I'd sort of forgotten about that beat a little bit. The beat I'm on today is a beat I've never fished before. I've never been here before. So this is going to be really interesting. It gives me a chance to show you guys how I go about fishing new water, fishing a new beat. So I've got here, and the first thing I've done is I've walked the entire thing. I got here about 45 minutes early. I've got about a mile of water, double bank, and I've walked the whole thing, one bank from one end to the other. And what that gives me a chance to do is just figure out where the riffles are if the risers go quiet and I've got to do some nymphing, where are the dry fly flats when the hatch happens or when spinnerfall happens, you know, which are the bits that I can walk past, where are the difficult bits to access, where can I get to the river in some parts easier than others. It just gives you a bit more of a chance to figure out the beat before the good fishing happens. So I'd always recommend, if you're fishing somewhere new, get there a little bit early and just walk it. Just go and have a look, because that way you'll know that when the hatch happens or when the hatch stops, you'll have a plan B, you'll have riffles, you have a backup plan to go and fish somewhere new. As with the other 2 days, got 3 rods with me: a 9-foot 4-weight dry fly rod that I'm hoping to use for most of the day, a multi-length 9/8 10/8 Euro nymphing rod that I think is going to get a little bit of use today at times, and a spider fishing rod, which, to be honest, I haven't seen a huge amount of water so far today that I'm particularly inspired about fishing the spiders on, but there are a couple of spots where we might give that one a go as well. So between those 3, we'll get plenty done. In terms of flies, it should be fairly simple at this time of year. March browns and large dark olives is what we're hoping for, although it hasn't really happened so far in the previous 2 days. Yesterday in particular, that Granum hatch was fantastic and the fish fed on them throughout the day, so we've topped the fly box up with a few more kind of sedgy, granumy pupa patterns and some spent caddis as well, because that worked really well yesterday too. I wasn't thinking I was going to get much in terms of dry fly fishing for the first few hours today, because it's a little bit overcast compared to the other 2 days, but actually the pool next to me has a few fish rising in it, so I'm going to dip in here now and see if I can get myself on the board nice and early. So for having, oh there he is, for having give that spiel about walking the river and just getting to know it a little bit, the one thing you don't get to know when you're walking it from the bank is just how deep some of the pools are. And while I've got fish rising in front of me, I have no idea if I can actually get anywhere near them. I'm assuming these are taking the Granum. I haven't seen anything else in the air, but there are a few of those Granum. I think that puts me in roll cast range. I've got trees behind me, so I've not got much room to make a back cast. I'm just going to give this a watch for 2 minutes and just see if anything else moves. I may well have upset a few fish walking over here, but if I wait this out, I might get a shot a little bit closer than the one that's risen most recently, because he is way downtown. Okay, I'll take another couple of steps across. I'll have a pop of that fish. I don't think it's a particularly big one. Be nice to get off the mark. And the weather forecast throughout the day is worsening. It's going to get more and more windy through the day, so I think I'm going to try and make the most of the dry fly fishing early while it's here, because there's a possibility that once that wind gets up, the opportunities for these fish run out. Okay, so that's not going to cover any of those fish, but it does get the line out. Gives me a sort of marker from a roll cast. That's getting there. That's not far off. That's not far off. That was pretty good. I didn't think that was far off at all. It's a bit further across again. That's nice. Will you eat that one? God, crikey, there's a few fish over there. I just wish I could get a touch further across, but I am probably at my limit at the moment with the wading. Okay, that's a new fish. Can I overhead that? Yes, I can. That makes life a little bit easier. Don't mind an extra yard on basically all of these, but we'll work with it. There we go. There we go. That definitely covers at least one, if not both of those fish. Oh, yep, it covered him. It was dragging. I was just about to say that's dragging as he ate it. Could I switch sides? Is that a thing? Oh. Okay. There might be some mileage in that. If this was 6 inches lower, I'd be able to get across to these fish fine. Okay, yeah, that is over there. That is over there. Got him. Got him, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Is he still on? No. I shouldn't have wound. Why are you winding? Strip, not wind. Ah, yeah. Okay, that was amateur hour right there. That might not make the final edit. Ah, oh, come on. It's too early in the morning for me. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. The problem with that is the wind has just blown the fly upstream of the fly line. And it means I'm going to get earlier drag. It's not a bad cast though. Same thing. Got that one. Got that one. Okay. No stripping. No winding. No winding. Oh my. What is happening? Ah, jeez. I'm going to go and find somewhere different. I'm going to lose my rag here in a minute. It is just gone 11 o'clock and I've risen 4, landed none. Okay, well I've had 10 minutes there. I've had a little chat with myself. I know I've got plenty of weaknesses as a fly angler. I think we all have to a certain extent, but I know amongst mine is fishing dry flies at slightly longer range because I just don't do it much. Where I do most of my fishing in Derbyshire, very, very rarely would I have to make a cast quite that long. Possibly go back to that pool in a bit and just have another look because there were plenty of fish there. But I've had a bit of a walk up and I'm still finding fish. Just at the back end of a nice riffle here, we've got this big kind of spread out bubble line coming down the outside half of the river. And I'm seeing fish rise in front of me. They're not mega frequent, but there are fish rising here. So I've sort of dropped myself in. I'm just having a bit of a look, see if I can find some. Slightly different situation to what I had in that first pool, and the bubble line here is basically half of the river. There's a lot of space for food coming down here, so we're not going to get really localized rises. They'll be spread across the whole bubble line. Okie doke, that's what we were waiting for. There's a fish just risen just downstream of me, right in front. Okay, Andy, that one isn't far away. It's a bit downstream of you, but it's not far away. That's well within your normal range. Don't miss it. That's a good mend. Come on, that's about right. Got him. Got him. Finally hit one. Finally hit one. Of course it had to be the close range one. Of course it had to be the close range one. Is he still moving? Oh yeah, he's still, wow, yeah, he's definitely still moving. What happened there? Just felt like he was perhaps stuck on something. Tumbling around. Wow, it's a horrible fight at the moment. So it interests me how differently certain fish fight. This one is just disgusting. It's not a huge fish, it's a nice one. No, none of that. Hopefully he's used up most of his energy there on that first run. Oh, stop doing that. That tumbling is just horrible. There we go. I do hit the odd one, I promise. It's just not as many as I'd like. I hope that's on camera. That's the first time that's ever happened, but he's just jumped clean in the net. Oh well. I often get questions about this floating net. People say, oh, don't the fish ever jump out? And I've been using them for nearly 10 years now and I've never had one jump out until now. There we go. That one threw himself straight out the net. There we go. If you wait long enough, something happens. Get a nice short cast right in front of me. That would probably do. Oh, drag. That wind. Let's try that one again. Aim a bit lower downstream. Account for the wind. Got him. Whoa. He's taken off as well. He really has taken off. Right. Try and get some line back on the reel, because I prefer to play fish off the reel. Just be conscious of what the fish is doing, Andy. Don't make a mess of another one. That was all about waiting. I honestly think it's for you dry fly anglers' biggest weapon, or one of your biggest weapons as a dry fly angler, is just a bit of patience. It's so easy there just to stand and flog that to bits, or say, right, spiders, or right, I'm going to go and fish nymphs somewhere else. But I know there's fish there. I know there's food coming down the river. Seeing the odd rise, just heard another one behind me. Sometimes it's just about just waiting for something to happen, because it usually does. Trout are pretty predictable fish in that sense. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's as big as the previous fish. The previous one was a nice one. I would really like to have shown you a bit more of that fish. Ooh, right, it's just gone for the inside bank, so I changed the angle slightly. Yeah, he's trying to get in the grasses on the inside. I would quite like to avoid that. No, what is it with these fish doing that this few days? Oh wow, yeah, he has got in those grasses now. Can I get him out this way? Yeah, that worked out okay in the end. Come on, get tired. He's gone for those grasses again. Reverse him out. Whoa, he's found energy from somewhere there. Taking line off me. Come on, bud. That'll do. It's very impressive, but I wish you'd pack up. Cold water, river full of bugs. These guys have got so much energy. I'm pulling back pretty hard here. That rod's been fairly well bent over for the entire fight. Oh, he's getting those grasses again. I'm going to lose this fish pretty soon if I'm not careful. Come on, bud. That'll do. That'll do. Ooh, he's made a beeline for my legs. Will you come up now? God, this is absolute chaos. Just freaking pack in. He's in the net, finally. What a palaver that was. Jeepers. That's a lovely wild Usk brownie. That is. I love that blue hue they got on the head. Gorgeous fish. It's not a big one. Great fight. I think what we're learning here is that if the trout rises within 40 feet of me, I'm probably going to hook it. If it rises beyond 40 feet of me, I'm probably going to miss it. I have got to put in some time to try and change those odds a little bit, because that is not the ratio you want. Still, there's the odd riser in front of me. I'll be honest, it's gone a little bit cold. It's the first time really this weekend that I felt properly cold, and the water's chilly and I'm stood still in quite deep water, but just generally there's a slight haziness to the sky, and that wind is chilly, and there definitely aren't as many of those caddies around as there might have been when I first arrived and was missing everything I could put a fly anywhere near. Yeah, I think it's move time. Okay, so I've been on a little bit of a wander, and the first place I found with rising fish again is actually that first pool that I fished when I first got here. Oh, there's a fish rising just above me. How have I not spooked him? There are also fish rising at slightly more sensible ranges than there were yesterday, and more of them. Will you eat that? It's literally just here. Don't spend too much time here while those guys are rising over there. It feels a little bit warmer down here, and there were so many more bugs than where I was. I caught those two fish just, so I feel like this is a good move. I don't want to fish the same two spots over and over again all day, that's for sure. But I can't walk past this while there's this many fish rising. I need to take my time here, because it'd be really easy just to go charging across and get this wrong. What have we got to aim at? Oh, those downstreamers are really tempting. I don't think there's any other way of me covering them, so it's not like I'm messing up fish that I could have caught otherwise. Everything is a bit further across than I want to go, or a bit further down than I want to go. Oh, apart from that one. Oh, that little guy has taken that as well. That's literally just about to pick that up to recast. So I've fished good Granum conditions on the dove and the derwent before, but I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like what I've seen in the last 2 days on here. Let's get this guy in quickly so we can go and interrupt one of his bigger brothers on the far side. Nice close range fish for me. I can hit him at that distance. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's unbelievable how many fish are rising in this area at the moment. I haven't seen anything yet that I could definitely pick as being a bigger fish. I've got my eye out, that's for sure. Oh, will that reach him down there? Big stretch, big stretch. Yes, it did. It did reach him. It did reach him. Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable. Can we gain some line back on you? I'd like to get you somewhere closer to me. I just want to get this fish back in as quickly as possible, so I can start targeting some of the others. Oof, oof, oof. Tumbling, tumbling, lots of tumbling. Nice soft tip rod helps at moments like that. Sort of where we want him. That is a nice fish actually, slightly bigger than I thought. Yeah, that'll do. A day full of those would be lovely. Yes, there we go, yes. Okay chap, home time for you. Lovely fish. 15 inches maybe. Look at that beautiful blue sheen. Nice. Oh my goodness. This is just the best Granum fishing I've ever had. Sometimes on our Derbyshire rivers they can be a little bit reluctant to eat them. This spent caddis, this poor Proctor spent caddis is just, it's just rising everything. There's very, very few fish that I've covered today that haven't lifted to this thing. Let's try that one again. It doesn't look pretty in terms of the casting, but it is getting me in front of the fish. Oh, hello. Let's drop one a little bit closer then. Yeah, that might do. Got him. Got him. Oi, he's airborne. He's airborne again. Oh my goodness. Dude, you're a fish, you live in the water. Stay in the water. Let me get you on the reel. Always making sure when you're trying to get a fish on the reel that you're keeping the fish bit looked after as well. Looks another fish of a similar size to the last one. He's doing that tumbling all over the place thing again. Can we get you up to the surface? There we go. Now I wasn't sure about the previous one, but this has just got a little hint of stocky about it. I don't know, not 100% sure. The locals will know. All these stockies have their own sort of characteristics. It's lovely blue sheen still. Off he goes. That wind's just got up again, and while there are definitely Granum on the water and they are still eating them, there's not quite as many as there was. Or I say that, there's a huge drift coming up here at the moment, and there were fish rising up here. Obviously I've walked over this now and pushed those fish away, but it could well just be that I've got to be a bit more careful with the inside line in this area. I could perhaps go upstream and have a look, but be a bit more careful with the inside line here and make sure that I'm not pushing fish too far away from me. There's a mixture here of just that wind blowing for 5 minutes and me wading across and throwing big casts has just put this pool down a little bit. So I'm going to back off. I might even walk away from this. We'll see what happens. Possibly time for a move, and I might come back here again in another half an hour's time. This is weirding me out now. I'm hoping you guys can hear the music and it doesn't sound like I'm just chuckling away to myself like an idiot. I think it's time for me to move on from here. This is just weirding me out a little bit too much. I don't like fishing around people, full stop. But with someone singing in the background. This is getting a little bit too weird. Snips has got brown eyes. This is a sign that I should go home. Snips is my dog, by the way, just for anyone who doesn't know what that means. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go and look for another spot that hasn't got someone singing on it. Well, after a really good first 2.5 hours, the next 2.5 hours, to be honest, has been very, very quiet. The weather has changed completely. That wind continued to stiffen. It's got pretty cloudy and the clouds are getting heavier and heavier. It really does feel like there's a change in the air. There's a big storm forecast over the next few days moving in, and you can tell it feels like that. What fascinates me is just what an impact it's had on both the bugs and the fish. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still a few of those Granum lifting off. They are there, but geez, the fish have just gone. Like this, but this is the pool that I've done most of the dry fly fishing in today, and I've stood here for 20 minutes and nothing has moved. Now, you wouldn't have believed that a few hours ago, but just this change in conditions, a big drop in the air pressure, slight drop in the air temperature, I think, but not much, has completely changed the day. Just very quickly, big shout out to the 3 guys who I met further up on the bank. I'll be perfectly honest, I can't remember all 3 of their names, but they did recognise me. It was really cool. Thank you very much for saying hello, and I hope you guys had a really good day's fishing too. I know they plan to go off to the bar that was playing the live music, so if you're still in there, good luck to you for the rest of the day. Always filming these videos, there's a little bit of internal conflict in that in terms of the video, I would just like to keep catching fish and fish and fish. And that'd be really cool. There'll be loads of fish in the vlog. This is also often the only time I get to do my own fishing, so there's always sort of a trade-off of I could just blast and blast and blast and keep fishing, versus actually quite enjoyed my day as it is, and I don't feel particularly inclined to keep going. So even though it's only 20 past 4, I'm actually going to go get in the car and drive home. I've had a really nice day's fishing. If I hadn't have missed as many fish as I had, it'd have been a big numbers day. As it is, it's been really, really enjoyable, and I don't feel like I need to keep flogging this with the spiders or with the nymphs to get anything else out of it. I've had a pretty good day as it is. I've had a pretty good 3 days in truth. Don't get me wrong, I haven't fished particularly well. I know I'm very rusty, that's pretty evident. What's been interesting is that for the most part it's gone absolutely not to plan at all. I thought we were coming down here and it'd be large darks and March browns and, you know, an hour of dry fly fishing in the day and then spiders and nymph on either side of that. And actually each of the 3 days I've finished up fishing dries well into the afternoon. I've seen barely any March browns, barely any large darks, maybe a few on the first day, but second, third day, absolutely nothing in terms of upwind insects. But these Granum hatches have been incredible, and I must admit, even though, as I say, I've seen big Granum hatches up on our rivers in Derbyshire, I didn't realise they got them quite this big and this heavy down here on the Usk. It's been a real eye-opener. The fish clearly absolutely love them, and that little Paul Proctor pattern, that Spent Caddis, has been a really, really good fly. Don't get me wrong, I haven't changed around a lot, but I haven't needed to, because I felt like pretty much every time I've presented that well to a fish, it's eaten it. So yeah, good pattern to have. To be honest, right the way through the season, that's a very good pattern. It's a really smart fly. So go over to Fulham Mill, get yourself a couple of those. As I mentioned previously, all of the beats that I've fished are available through the Usk Foundation. I'll put the website up here. The Usk Foundation do a great job, not only in maintaining access to these stretches of the river, but also maintaining the health of the rivers in this area as well, and more broadly across Wales now too. They're covering an awful lot of ground. It's a great organisation. Every time you book a beat, a little bit of the money goes to the Usk Foundation, and they're doing great work down here, so please don't hesitate to book yourself on a stretch of their water when you get a chance. There's some great fishing down here. It's about a 3-hour drive home for me from here, so I'm going to get myself back to the car, get out the waders and make my way back up to Derbyshire. I've got work in the morning, so got to get the kit sorted out and get ready for that. Thank you very much for all of you who have watched. That was a big rice. Thank you very much for those of you who have watched not only this one, but perhaps all 3 of them. I hope you've really enjoyed it. It's been a little bit of a struggle on my part. I've not fished great, but we've put a few fish in the net. We've been a bit unlucky at times. We've lost a few, we've missed a few, we've learned a lot. And hopefully you guys have found something in amongst all of this stuff that you can take away and put in your own fishing as well. I've got a bit of a walk back, so I'm going to crack on and do that now. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. IB and I are going to see you guys again soon for some more fishing and stuff. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.